Of course, Jackson State has been in the news, all over the news, for the last couple of weeks. And I mean, Dion did his little spot on 60 Minutes. It's an interesting interview. He has some very interesting things to say. There's a lot of talk locally. They're trying to get a stadium deal, stadium in place, which they've been trying for decades now. But for once, it has a little traction. But of course, everyone is concerned that Prime is going to chase the money and go to a bigger school when the Power Five conferences start calling, which could happen as early as this year. A lot of people have been talking about Georgia Tech being in the Atlanta area where he used to high step for the Falcons. But Buck, I'll start with you on this first, man. Do you think that Prime is moving to a Power Five school? And if you had to guess that's the case, then how soon do you think it could happen? As early as this year or maybe later down the line?
Well, according to 60 Minutes, what he said on 60 Minutes, he'd have to entertain it. Um, those Power Five schools really offer these coaches a lot of money in the millions. I mean, he's only getting 500,000 at Jackson State, but what he's done for Jackson State and the notoriety and and the pomp and circumstance that he's brought to Jackson has been amazing for the city. The city is not taking advantage of it. I mean, yeah, they're talking about putting the stadium up. They've been talking about replacing Memorial Stadium ever since we were kids, and they haven't done it. Um, I mean, back in the day, we used to get Mississippi State, and Ole Miss, and USM down there. I think Delta State played once in Jackson, but now you only have Jackson State playing at that stadium because the other schools got their own stadiums, and they're better than Memorial Stadium. Um, I would like to see him stay at least another 2 years, and this is my reasoning on this. Um, what he's done for the Jackson State and fixing up the campus and getting ESPN and these other things. He's not only just doing things for Jackson State. He's actually doing other things for the other teams, sending coaches to some of the other teams in the SWAC. He's really doing an outstanding job, in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. It's actually got some relevance now. I mean, for a long time, you didn't hear anything about the SWAC, but now we're starting to get that, it's starting to get that mojo again. So I'd like to see him stay at least another couple of years. Jackson State gonna have to pony up. They got to come up with some more money. I'd like to at least see him get $1 million. Um, I know some of the other coaches in the SWAC don't necessarily care for him, but at the same time, what he's doing, I'd like to see him get a little bit more a handle on the discipline. I mean, he prides himself in being old school coach and discipline this and that, but on the football field, it doesn't show on the football field because these guys, looking like thugs. So I'd like to see him clean that up a little bit. I mean, it's all right to, celebrate and things of that nature. I just like to see it a little bit cleaner. But I'd like to see him stay in the SWAC at least another couple of years, regardless of whether these Power Five schools call, because what he's done for Jackson State and getting them back on the map has just been outstanding. So I really would like to see him stay at least a little bit longer and see, so Jackson State can reap the rewards. It'd be nice to see if he stayed there a couple of more years, what they do on the outer, the outside of Jackson State, not just the inside, but the outside. That side of town is dead. I mean, they used to have car lots and grocery stores and all kinds of things. You used to be, you wasn't afraid to go on that side of town. Now you don't want to go nowhere near Jackson State outside of it. So if he stayed there a couple of years, I think he may, it may have Jackson, if they get the head right at the Capitol, to maybe see if they can get something on the outside of that stadium, outside of the school as well as inside. Maybe put
Okay.
some dormitories on the outside.
I mean,
Get some dormitories on the outside over there. And you maybe incorporate a little bit of that emptiness and make that part of the campus. It's
I
just
mean,
an idea.
they've built up a lot over the last decade or so around the campus, but it is still an area that a lot of people don't necessarily frequent. So I totally
Right.
get what you're saying there. As far as the discipline, I think he's doing a decent job working on that. I mean, the kids aren't allowed to wear earrings, and
Yeah.
If you notice, they don't. You know how a lot of college teams, the guys come out with their leggings with like one legging up and one legging down, one sock up, one sock down, 5 wristbands on the arm, and he doesn't allow all that stuff. Um, so I mean, the team, every player looks alike because he's of the mindset. According to him, he says your play should separate you, not your dress style or whatever. But so I think he's working on. But I mean, his son has 2 more years at quarterback. He's a sophomore, Ray. Do you think that's going to play a role in what he does, or if he gets the money, he's just going to take his son with him? Because I mean, with the NIL, you can basically transfer anywhere with the transfer portal.
Well, I mean, to me, this whole thing is fool's gold, and let me tell you why. Because see, I don't think he's going nowhere. Because if he goes somewhere, he got to take his son with him. There's no way his son gonna stay and play for another coach. He's never played for anyone but Dion. So now to take him to Division 1, he gonna get exposed. He don't want him to get exposed. So therefore, I don't see that happening. That's why they keep with the Power Five, the Power Five. So everything he's doing now is lining his pockets to get a big time job 2 years down the road or something like that. See, everybody is hype, and I saw the hype. Everybody coming in with the you know Jackson State stuff on and all this. Everybody believes in illusion. That's why the Democrats are so popular. And they don't look at what's actually happening. What's actually happening is the SWAC guys can't compete. So he's going to finish with an 11-1 record or 10-2 record or 12-0 or whatever the case may be because those guys cannot compete. That's why if all this is going on for the SWAC, why you think those SWAC guys have been there forever? Don't care for him. Then we talk about discipline. You tell me what coach walk around with a hood on top of his head, hat turned to the side, sunglasses, chains hanging out. What coach? But then you want that Nick Saban type of respect? Are you kidding? Now you a great ball player. We can't take that from you when you play, but don't give us a spiel about discipline when you coming out looking like what you talking about, what you don't want to see. And then we see it ain't what a kid looks like. We going by your actions. What these kids saying in the camera. We do this for real. They can't fuck with us. Nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that. On ESPN.